Welcome to Make Your Mark podcast, where guests share their experiences, insights, and tactics to help you accelerate your business. So building, scaling, and monetizing your business is made easier. And I will be your host, Kay Suthar. Welcome back, guys. We have another episode of Make Your Mark podcast, and I have an epic guest for all of you. Now, he is a founder and CEO of 2X. Austin has empowered numerous 6 to 7 figure businesses to scale exponentially with the proven 2X operating system and methodology. Austin's profound insights and practical strategies have been featured on prominent platforms. His new book, From 6 to 7 Figures, has been hailed as the playbook entrepreneurs need by renowned authority Dan Martell. Oh my God, Martell, that's like a brandy in the UK. With his extensive background in driving business growth, optimizing strategies, and implementing efficient systems, Austin offers valuable insights on achieving time freedom, streamlining operations, and scaling businesses with predictability and profitability. Please welcome Austin to the stage, where we're going to be talking about juicy stuff about businesses and how to scale. Austin, it's so awesome to have you here on the show.
Hey, I love your energy. I love your mission. I love what you're doing. It's an honor to be here and excited to dive in.
Oh my goodness, so many questions for you, Austin, right? But before we get down that road of really kind of talking about what business is all about, I would love for you to share with our audience today a little bit about what your journey's been like, because we all know running a business, building a business doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah. Well, I started out not knowing anything about entrepreneurship. I started out in the corporate world. I had this plan to be the CEO of a large company. So I got my engineering degree. I went and worked for a big oil company and started working down that path and realized that wasn't necessarily the path for me. And ultimately, through a long journey, started to learn about entrepreneurship, started my first business on the side, started making more money on the side than I was in my full-time job, and realized, all right, it's probably time for me to leave. So I left that, but doing that, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. I burnt myself out. I was doing it all myself. I was working way too many hours that I realized that wasn't sustainable. So I took time off. I traveled around the world for 18 months and just wanted to recharge and live my life and, kind of find myself in different ways and figure out what I wanted to do next. And I wanted to do something that I was making a contribution to the world. I was making an impact. So I went and started a blog and podcast that led to a book, that led to a book marketing agency, that led to coaching entrepreneurs, that led to now what we do now. So I've had 5 different businesses. Everything was a stepping stone to what we do now, which is serve 6 and 7 figure business owners to help them get free from the day to day and scale so that they don't have the burnout like I used to have in my first 2 businesses.
Oh my goodness. Well, you've done a lot there, right? You just kind of compacted it really quickly for all of us, but we all know it's a journey and it takes years for us to get to a certain point, right? Now, you do help businesses go from 6 figures to 7 figures. And I can imagine there's a lot of different strategies that's involved with doing that compared to, say, someone that's just starting out, right?
Yeah, and so it's definitely different.
What would you say are, the top 3 things that are completely different, that stand out, that people maybe, don't even think about when it comes to scaling to 7-figure businesses? What would that look like?
Yeah, a couple of the biggest things, like when you're starting out, you're just kind of scrapping and clawing to bring in sales. You're trying to see who will buy whatever you're selling, right? And you're trying to figure out what the product is, who you're going to serve, how you're going to serve them, and actually make that. And once you get that, now we need to start to shift. And this is where a lot of people get stuck at multiple 6 figures because they can't make the shift. Because what gets you to that first level of success is exactly what will hold you back from getting to 7 figures and beyond. So what we need to do is to start to shift, to have, instead of you doing so many of the things, to have other people doing that. And that's a hard thing for us to let go of certain tasks, for us to hire and set up other people for success, for us to create systems for other people to follow. So that's really a big turning point, is can you get things done through other people? If so, then you're going to be able to scale to 7 figures. Another key lever is we've got to figure out how to acquire customers at scale. And you need one proven channel that you focus on and you're consistently driving that you can get to the next level. So we've had so many clients that we've helped scale from 6 to multiple 7 figures. And the vast majority get most of their leads through one primary channel. Yes, you can have multiple others. Yes, we like to have others, but a lot of people have 5 or 7 or 8 different marketing channels, none of which are optimized. And as a result, they just are busy, but not growing and really wasting a lot of time. So we help simplify things and get them focused on the right things. So if, again, first, we got to let go of certain tasks. We need to get leverage through systems and team. And then we need to focus on the right growth levers and really, really hone that in. And if you do so, you're going to really accelerate fast to 7 figures and beyond.
Oh my goodness. Austin, that was awesome. Now, I want to take a couple of steps back here. You mentioned, letting go, letting other people on your team, right, take control of certain tasks. How do you work with your clients and getting them to understand that they need to let go, because we all have a hard time doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a muscle that we have to build. And what we need to do is start small. So if you can start small by getting the easiest things off your plate, you'll start to see the impact, or you'll feel the impact that it makes, because we have so many decisions that we make in a small business. Like there's hundreds of moving pieces at any time. It's overwhelming. So if we can start to reduce that decision fatigue by getting some of the small things off your plate, you'll start to see the benefits of it. And then the next thing is like what we call the 2x delegation flow. So a lot of people will just kind of give somebody a particular task, and they think that they have the full context. They think that they know what you know. They don't, right? So we've got to over communicate, make it really clear, give them a basic system for them to follow, and really set them up for success. Have some feedback loop. And really, it takes a little bit longer at the beginning, but ultimately, if you really set somebody up for success, they can run with it, and they actually then do it well. Then you reinforce the idea that it's better to offload things instead of, if you don't delegate well, then you reinforce the idea that it's better to do it yourself, which is what most people do. So they stay on this hamster wheel of just not letting things go and staying doing almost everything themselves.
Okay, so I guess the next question would be, and a lot of people struggle with this, right, is how do you hire the right way, right? Making sure that you can actually let go and they're going to do the task the right way, make sure it's getting done. Because a lot of people hire and it hasn't worked out several times, and then that just completely puts them off. So what is the best way to hire?
First of all, we've got to make sure that we are very clear on what this person is going to be doing, what they're responsible for, and make sure that we set them up for success. A lot of times what we see is, for instance, let's say it's a multiple 6-figure business. They'll hire somebody maybe on the marketing team, and they want this person to be a superhero. They want this person to fix all the things and all of a sudden, be able to turn their marketing around. No, that's really, really rare that you're going to get that to work. But instead, what if we really break down their role and exactly what they need to do? If they need to be setting up blog posts, and they need to be doing this type of research, and they need to be doing this particular task, and they need to handle social media, and here's the 7 things that they do within social media or whatever. If we really break it down in detail, we see that we can more clearly guide them on how to do these things. We can more clearly give them feedback on how they're doing on them and really set them up for success. And we're not expecting the world. We're expecting them to do a particular task. So if you get really clear on exactly what the responsibilities are, that's the first step. Then from there, you need a good hiring system. Everything in your business is and should be a system. And one of the most important systems is a hiring system, so that you make sure to get the right people in. So with the right hiring system, you're interviewing and testing people in the proper way to really evaluate them. And then what we always do is a trial period. We do a paid trial period for a short period of time. For most roles, it's about 14 days that we really get to see. This is after they've been through the hiring process, after they've done some test tasks. Then when we're really excited about a candidate, we do a paid trial period. But even then, we see that a lot of people don't pass that, because you'll really start to notice if they're going to be a good fit when they're in the day-to-day, when they're doing different tasks. And what we say is 90% of the time, within 2 days of having somebody on your internal team, if they're going to be a great hire or not. 90% of the time, that's pretty clear. So we need that clear out just in case they're not, because 50% of the time, they're not. And you need to have that out. And that's why we do a trial period.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And the trial period is only 2 days? I thought they need longer than that.
No, it's 14 days, but we usually know within 2 days.
Okay. All right. Oh, interesting. Okay. I like the idea, though, making sure that they have a trial basis. Now, just going back again, you mentioned that there should only be one system to really get leads and get clients and be able to close them. Why should there be one system when you can have several different ways and get a lot more leads coming in?
That's the common misconception out there, but that doesn't happen. What we've realized is by really, really focusing on one primary channel, we can optimize it and scale it and make it to be a consistent, repeatable channel. Again, we've helped so many clients scale from 6 to 7 figures by doing this. We call it 1-2-30. One primary channel, 2 supporting channels, and then a 30-day funnel, basically to see how we can take people from cold to converted as fast as possible in that first 30 days by really nurturing them, giving them a lot of value, transforming them beliefs, and then leading them into a call to action. So if you can do that, have one clear primary core channel that every single month is bringing in sales, and that's just your bread and butter, and you've got 2 supporting channels, you're going to be well ahead of people that are putting stuff across 7 different platforms and expecting it to work. That doesn't work. That just adds more work. And yes, it's easy to do with technology now, but we haven't seen it to work 99% of the time very effectively versus really honing in and focusing on one primary channel and driving that.
Interesting. Okay, so in your experience, Austin, what is the best platform that really works for the majority out there?
It totally depends on the business. For instance, we work with a lot of service-based businesses, and we ask them and we break down how do they get most of their business. And what we realize is that most of it's through word of mouth. And we're like, great. Do you have a referral system? And they're like, no, it just happens. And we're like, that's a very risky way to have a business. It's like, how did it just happen? What would happen if we put a really strategic referral system in place? Oh, we'd probably double our leads. Okay, well, let's do that. So a referral system is usually a great one, very organic, very high margin, and easy to do. And once you get it set up, it's just a part of the culture and company. So that's the main one. But then it really depends on the business from there, because a lot of people will have some type of ads funnel of some kind. Some people will use social media, but not many. Organic SEO, JV partnerships. It really depends on the type of business. But we really like to start with some type of organic strategy, because that way we can really optimize things and make sure that they're profitable before we get into the expensive strategies such as paid advertising.
Okay. I like that. And so with using the 2X system, how do you know whether somebody is ready to actually take their 6-figure business to being a 7-figure business? Is there anything that you're looking for? Because I know there's a lot of people out there thinking, well, how do I know when I'll be ready for the next step?
Well, if you don't know that you're ready for the next step, you probably need a mindset shift, because we should always be growing. So my company name is 2X. And the reason why it's 2X is we're no matter where somebody's at, we want to focus on where you're at and see how we can double. And then once we get there, we want to double again and double again and double again. And that's actually the fastest path to growth, because a lot of people are talking about 10X and they're talking about how they're going to, exponentially grow overnight and all these huge things. Nobody's 10Xing. I love Grant Cardone, and he's motivating a lot of people and he's very inspirational, but it's not, nobody's doing that. Like, everybody can dream about it. And I see so many 6-figure entrepreneurs that are talking about how they're going to 10X. No, focus on how you can double, because if you focus on doubling, you're focused on the strategic actions that you can take, because it's not a game of ideas. It's not a game of motivation. It's a game of execution. And we really want to focus on the exact steps in front of you. And if we have that focus of trying to double and do so with consistency and control, again, leveraging operational excellence, which we talk about as systems, numbers, and team. If you have those 3 things, you've got things that are consistent, predictable, scalable, and not reliant on you. That means once you get to the next level, then you're not overwhelmed, and you're ready to go to the next level again, and you're ready to go to the next level again. But one of the first levers that we need to do before we can start to scale, not only the mindset, a piece that I kind of touched on, but it's really about your time. So many people are already overwhelmed with their time. They couldn't imagine doubling or tripling or quadrupling their business, when in fact, we've got to free up time, because you can scale more while working less. And that's what my new book, The 2-Week Vacation Test, is about. I need to send it to you because I think you'll enjoy it. But it just came out a couple of days ago.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness. So you mentioned mindset, right? Now, mindset is this never ending journey that we're all on, right? And at different stages of our businesses, there's going to be other obstacles that we're going to cross. And so, regards to mindset, what are kind of some of the familiar things that you see all the time with CEOs going from 6 figures to 7 figures?
Yeah, well, the biggest one we touched on earlier is got to let go. You got to have the perspective, instead of you doing things yourself and thinking it's better and faster if I just do it myself. It's way better to think, who can do this and what systems do we need in place? That's what a seven-figure CEO thinks about. And in the book, I break down how a six-figure hustler thinks about it and how a seven-figure CEO thinks about it. And we need to shift that mindset to really be thinking about leverage and scale in the long term, and not the constant short-term reactivity that most six-figure businesses think about. And I know that because I was that person. I was a master of building six-figure businesses, and I couldn't break through the seven figures. And as soon as I learned about a couple of these key shifts, I instantly went to building seven-figure businesses really, really quickly and had multiple of them in a couple of years.
Interesting. Okay, so you mentioned about the hustler and the CEO, right? Now you've got to be interested. Like, what's the difference here?
Well, the difference is, again, the six-figure mentality versus the seven-figure mentality, and it's really about looking at things from a top-down view. Whereas, like, the six-figure hustler is in the business; they're pulled in 100 different directions. They've got everything around them, and they're just focused on scrapping and clawing and again, just getting sales in for the short term. Whereas a seven-figure CEO is thinking about systems. They're thinking about hiring the right team and setting them up for success. They're thinking about what can they do right now, here today and this week, that's going to set them up 6 months from now. So they're just thinking much bigger and much more holistically. They're seeing their business from a 30,000 foot view, and they know where to focus because they're free from the weeds. So it's a really big mindset shift that's easier said than done. So you need the support, and you need that constant kind of accountability and awareness to see where you're at, because we all have mindset issues and opportunities. That's for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness. So, Austin, at this point, I know people are probably thinking, oh my goodness, I need to get hold of Austin. I need to get hold of the book, right? So where can they go with you and purchase your book?
Yeah, we have them available on our website, 2x.co, 2x.co. It's the shortest domain you'll probably have all week. But check us out there. We got a bunch of resources, but I've got two major books. One's called From Six to Seven Figures that you mentioned, and a new one is called the 2-Week Vacation Test to help you build a business that can run and thrive without you. So both of them are designed to help get you to seven figures. So if that is you and you're interested in that, check them out. They're very visual and tangible. There's a lot of templates and tools inside. There's steps, there's big quotes to make it really clear, because entrepreneurs are overwhelmed and they're not clear what to do. And I hope these books really break it down of exactly what to do to get some big wins. They're also available on Amazon, and I'm on Instagram as a social media channel at Netzley. So any of those are great, but check out From Six to Seven Figures, check out the 2-Week Vacation Test. And I really think that they'll be pivotal for a lot of people that read them.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Guys, if you haven't already connected with Austin or purchased this book, go ahead and do so. The links will be in the show notes, so make sure you go and check them out. Now, Austin, I've got to ask you this, right? We spoke about this off camera earlier on, but you mentioned that you do masterminds and events, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, what people can really get out of coming to these masterminds and what it really looks like.
Oh my gosh, these are one of my favorite things that we do. They're in-person events with other business owners, and everybody's really committed to getting to the next level. So it's really special to be in a room of other people that are in the same exact position as you, right? They have the same big visions and goals. They want the success and a great lifestyle. Like, we want to succeed without having to work ourselves to the bone. So what we do is get about 30 entrepreneurs all together all at once, and we break down your business in detail. And it's really special because what you get to do is you get to see all these other businesses, and you realize that even if we've got a marketing agency over here, and we've got a coaching business over here, and we've got an e-commerce business over here, you see that business is business. They're all the same. And you can see their problems and issues that they have are so clear and easy to address. It's easy for you to see that because you're not stuck in the weeds, but they can't see it because they are stuck in the weeds. And it's the same thing for your business. So you have this huge epiphany of seeing your business from a completely different lens, and you see so much more clearly what you need to do to break through to the next level. So you ultimately leave there with a clear action plan of how to simplify and how to scale to the next level. And you meet some amazing people and have some fun along the way. So it's a really impactful 2 days. We do 3 events per year. Our next one, like you said, is in London. So I'm really excited to do that. It's our first international one. We usually do them in the US. So I'm super, super excited for that. But it's just life-changing. It's a lot of people use the word life-changing, which can't be thrown around very easily.
Wow, yeah, definitely. Oh my goodness. So many golden nuggets in such a short amount of time. Wow, Austin. Now, before we come to the end, is there any last words that you would love to share with the audience that we haven't maybe touched on yet?
I would say one thing that we haven't brought up is simplification. So as you look at scaling to 7 figures, simple is the key. There's so many potential things that you can do. There's new marketing strategies that can be thrown at you every single day. Every time you go onto social media, you're going to see a new strategy that you may be interested to go after. But the biggest job, one of the biggest jobs that you have as a CEO is to see where you can simplify, is to keep things really simple. So we got to multiple 7 figures. We got on the Inc. 5000 back-to-back years with one product. We were running less than $5,000 a month in ads. So keep things as humanly simple or simple as humanly possible. And you're going to set your team up for success. You're going to not have the overwhelm, and you're going to be able to achieve a lot more growth. So we think that doing more is actually the path. No, it's actually the opposite. Do less, simplify, see what you can cut out, see what your highest impact things are, and do more of that. And that'll be the simplest path to scale to the next level. And that's what we help people do. And it's mind blowing to see how much complexity we can cut out by really focusing on what matters most. And we all need that support to make it happen.
Absolutely. And I love that. Simplify, because I always say to people, as human beings, there's one thing that we're really, really good at, and that's overcomplicating everything, right? Yep. So having you there as a sounding board, as a coach, as someone to kind of steer people in the right direction to simplify is so, so valuable. I love it. Oh my goodness. Austin, it was such an awesome pleasure to have you on here. Like I said, so many golden nuggets. Guys, if you're listening to this episode, go and connect with Austin. Go and check out his books. Go and have a conversation with him. Get booked on his calendar, because if you are ready, and you should be ready, he can help you. He can help you scale to the next level. Austin, thank you for coming on the show. So you on.
Thanks, Kay. I love what you're doing, and happy to support.
Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.